how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome back to another 2025 movie review. Now, this one is one that I've been waiting to do this month. I gotta admit, I literally just saw it yesterday as of the recording of this video, and I gotta say, thank you, James Gunn, for finally doing this series right, and that is, of course, Superman. Yep, James Gunn, who, if y'all don't know, is the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy for Marvel, and he did the best job at that trilogy. And when I heard that he was going to be the new head of the DC Studios, and he even directs the first movie that starts off this whole thing, which is kind of what Zack Snyder did when he was in charge of the DCEU in a way, is that he directed the first Superman movie of that franchise, which was Man of Steel. But unfortunately, not many people liked how he interpreted that, and it got even worse when he went to the next movie, which was Batman vs Superman, of course. And I gotta say, that whole DCE was such a mess. But with James Gunn being the head of DC now and starting a new franchise, a new DC universe with this movie, Superman, I will say this movie was amazing. There were a lot of different characters that were featured in the movie that had their own parts to play, but it wasn't like overshadowing Superman in any way, or even his main bad guy, Lex Luthor, which Nicholas Hoult, if y'all don't know who that is, he's actually the guy who played, I think, young Hank McCoy or Beast in the X-Men films, and I thought that was an interesting choice for Lex Luthor. But he actually, I will say, I think Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor stole the show for me. I feel like the way he portrayed the villainous Lex Luthor was like the best performance I think I've ever could have seen. And then I forgot the name of the guy who plays Superman in the movie, but I will say he definitely did a pretty decent job. I mean, there were some crack jokes here and there, classic James Gunn for you, but I think they fit well into this version of Superman, in my mind. And heck, I even found out from my cousin, who, if y'all haven't seen him on the channel before, he's my cousin Tyler Bailey, also known as Clutch Money 26 on YouTube. I saw his review of the movie not long after I saw it, and he actually gave it a 3.5 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken, which is literally, I think, the highest he's ever given a lot of the Superman related movies, and he even gave Man of Steel a 1.5, so he likes this version of Superman way better than Henry Cavill. No offense to Henry Cavill's version of Superman. He did a fantastic job. It's just, of course, at the time, the heads of DC at the time were just not too kind to him when it comes to how he was portrayed further and further after Man of Steel. Which brings us back to that classic joke that Deadpool said in his film of Deadpool and Wolverine. And I gotta admit that I'm just so glad that James Gunn is now the head of DC, because he's kind of learned from the feet of the master at how to run a successful franchise or universe, and that's with Kevin Feige. Because if it wasn't for Kevin Feige hiring him in the first place to direct Guardians of the Galaxy, and as time went on throughout the 3 movies, and even all the other times that the Guardians showed up, like in Infinity War and Endgame, I feel like if it wasn't for Kevin Feige, James Gunn wouldn't have gotten this opportunity to be the DC's version of Kevin Feige in a way. So we'll see how the next movie in the DCU turns out. And as far as I know, the next movie is based on Supergirl. And I even hear that there's only one actor so far, or I guess actually 2 actors, because one did make a cameo in Superman. I'm not going to say who it is for those of you who don't want to get spoiled there. But one actor that I know is confirmed for the Supergirl movie that played a character in the original DCEU is Jason Momoa, who played Aquaman in that version of the series. But now I hear he's going to be playing a villainous character called Lobo, which I need to do some research on that character. But apparently they say he looks just like Lobo in real life, so I guess that's why they cast him. But at least he's not playing the same character, obviously. I think that's what they're doing, is that they're bringing in if they bring in actors who played characters in the original version of the DC, but they and depending on how well of a job they did, or if they think they'd be better off playing a different character, then that's how they'll probably do it. Is that they'll bring old actors back if they want to play different characters than what they did in the original DCEU. But anyways, let me give you my rating of this movie. So, for my rating of Superman, like I said, great flick, better than Man of Steel in my mind. I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Yep, 4 out of 5. Definitely one of the better DC movies that I've seen in the last couple years. And honestly, that's all I gotta say. And as always, I will see all of you guys in the next video.